Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone in the chat. Let me know if you guys can hear me, and we will go ahead and get started. I hope everyone's having a great Monday so far. Hello. All right. Thank you so much. So, as always, welcome to another week of our ICD-10-CM Guideline Mastery sessions. I am Ms. Haley. I'm going to be your lead instructor for this class, and I am so excited to welcome everyone, as always, to our Monday night class. We are already in week 7, which is so crazy to me. I feel like time has just been flying by. So because we are in week 7, we are going to be going over and reviewing some pregnancy complications, perinatal and congenital abnormality guidelines. So I think it's from chapter 15 to chapter 18. And we're going to be using the same, our ICD-10-CM guideline book, and also referencing the MCG manual. So make sure to have both of those handy if you can. We are going to stick... Oh no. There's a hollow sound. Oh, can you hear me now? Maybe if I put the microphone up to my mouth, that would help. All right. So anyways, thanks for letting me know, guys. So yes, we are going to stick to... That helped. Okay, that's awesome. Oh my goodness, it is certainly a Monday, y'all. So we are going to stick to the same flow as we did last class. So we're going to be doing a Jeopardy game. We're going to try to do it live this time so we can get a little bit more competitive, because I know we liked some of those Kahoot games that we were doing. And then we're going to do the Quizlet games to do the coding scenarios and test our guideline mastery skills in depth. And I'm going to just quickly, I'll probably just go over the false ones. It's going to be all true or false. I'll just go over the false ones and show you what guideline I was referencing, so we can, as always, use this video as a reference tool in the future. So let's get started without further ado, now that we can properly hear me. All right. So yes, we are going to be going over pregnancy complications, perinatal and congenital abnormalities. There's supposed to be an R right there. Abnormalities. So before we get started, I'm going to quickly read this. I'm going to quickly read this, our copyright. So ICD-10-CM copyright 2026, American Medical Association, all rights reserved. Fee schedules, relative value units, conversion factors, and or related components are not assigned by the AMA, are not part of CPT or ICD-10, and the AMA is not recommending their use. The AMA does not directly or indirectly practice medicine or dispense medical services. The AMA assumes no liability for data contained or not contained. ICD-10-CM is a registered trademark of AAPC. AAPC content found within this presentation is copyright of AAPC. Keyword concept FTR, CHUN, AMCI Fab 7, AMCI ICD-10, FLIP, TAP, and MCG are trademarks of AMCI. The credentials CPC, CRC, COC, CPMA, CPB, CPPM, CPCO are owned by AAPC. AMCI does not own the rights to these credentials. The credentials CCA, CCS, CCS-P, RHIA, RHIT are owned by AHIMA, and AMCI does not own the rights to these credentials. Whew. All right. So with all of that being said, we are going to move to our warm-up. Whoopsies. Let's go back. Everyone close your eyes. Okay. We're going to warm up, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second so I can go and grab our game, our Jeopardy game. Like I said, we are going to be doing the Jeopardy, but we're going to try to do it live this time so that people can join in. You can also just put your answers in the chat if you just want to do that as well. However you want to participate. You guys were doing awesome last time. All right, so let's try this out. Alrighty. Amazing. Okay, so you can, I think someone is going to post the link, and you can click on it, or you can just go to this URL right here, the play.triviamaker.com, and type in this code, or you can use the QR code on the screen if you want to do that and join in. This is going to be the first time that I'm doing this live. So, or if you want to participate, thank you so much, Miss Dolly, for putting that in the chat. Or if you just want to participate and put your answers in the chat, that's totally fine. That's what we did last class. So no worries at all. And these are all going to be our chapter 15 through 18 guidelines. So all of our pregnancy guidelines. Yes, you got it. Amazing. I love all the support that we are getting in the chat. All right. Oh, yep. So you can just scan this QR code, or you can click on the link that's in the chat, and you can type in this PIN number, and the PIN number is 201226. We are just going to give it a few seconds, and then thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Dolly. Yes, so then we are going to go. Oh, we got some people. Amazing. So I'll give it a few seconds, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, amazing. Hello, hello, hello. And this is all going to be true or false. And then at the end, I will quickly go over all of the guidelines that I use. If you want to get a little more practice that way, you can always look back at this video and go through those guidelines. But it's going to be the same amount of questions as we did last class. I'll do a little countdown. We'll do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the categories, our first category is going to be our chapter 15, so pregnancy, childbirth, and the preparium. There are a lot of guidelines that are going to be in this chapter, so I'm making it 2 categories so we can get through all of them, because there are a lot, both in the MCG and the ICD-10. And then we're going to do chapter 15, certain conditions originated in the perinatal period. And then we're going to do chapter 17, congenital malformations, deformations, and abnormalities. All right, so without further ado, let's start with a 100 in a chapter 15. And these are all going to be true or false. So our first one, true or false. Pregnancies in patients ages 15 and younger are considered young maternal age pregnancies, but are not classified as high risk. Is this going to be true, or is this going to be false? And you are more than welcome to put your answers in the chat as well. I'll give it just a few seconds. Thank you, everyone. I'm getting some awesome answers in the chat as well. And I'm just taking these directly from the MCG guideline, and if it is false, I'm maybe just changing 1 or 2 words. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. True or false. I'll let you guys input it. I didn't get the little options. So you guys got a few more seconds. Just click on true or false. I think there's 3 more people. They're going to put in their answers. I didn't realize you had to click on it. We will be quicker on the next one. All right, 3, 2, and 1. All right. It is going to be false. This one is going to be false. The only difference is, so I'll go over it, but the young maternal age pregnancies are classified as high risk. And here it says not classified as high risk. Alrighty, and then let's do a chapter 16. Let's do 200. All right. True or false? The perinatal period for coding and reporting spans from before birth until the 60th day after birth. Specific guidelines apply to coding conditions and treatments during this time. So, how long is the perinatal period? Does it span from before birth until the 60th day after birth? True or false? What do we think? Get those answers in the chat if you are putting your answers in the chat. All right, I'll give a little countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. Going to be false. So again, with this, I'm only changing a few words. So all of this would be correct, except the span is from before birth until, and I'll show, but I think it's until about the 28th day after birth, not the 60th day after birth. So that is what makes this false. It is not the 60th day. It is quite shorter than that. So if you got that one right, amazing job. All right, I'll do another 100. All righty. True or false? Chapter 15 codes, or O codes, are used exclusively on the maternal record and should never be assigned to the newborn's record. Is this true or false? Don't think too much into it. You guys got this one. True or false? And if you have your MCG open, you can find this exact guideline in the chapter 15 section. I'm getting some amazing answers in the chat. Those are flying in. Great work. I'll give you guys a few more seconds on the live. Looks like we still have about 2 more people to answer. One more. I'll give it a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. Indeed, it is true. I'm pretty sure everyone got that one right. Amazing job. I want to see what the leaderboard is. I wonder if I click on the leaderboard if I'll be able to go back to this. I'm nervous. Who do we have on top? Wow, it is close. It is mighty close. It seems like everyone has 400 so far. So amazing job. How do we get back to the question board? Haha. All right, let's do a 300 since you guys did so awesome about that one. This one, it should be in both 2025 and 2026. It should be in both of them because it should be they should be updated. So yeah, it should be in both books. All right, I'll do a 300 from chapter 17. All right. True or false? Use codes from Q00 to Q99 for documented congenital malformations, deformations, or chromosomal abnormalities. These codes may be assigned as principal diagnosis only. That's what I want you guys to focus on. True or false? These codes may be assigned as principal diagnosis only, Q00 to Q99. True or false? Give you guys a few seconds with this one. Get those answers in the chat if you are chatting with us. Yes. Yes, I'm going to answer some questions that were put in the chat. Yes, you can take your exam with 2025 books. I believe as long as they're not 2 years past, then you're able to use them. I remember when I took my CPC exam, my HCPCS book had just hit that 2-year mark, and so I wasn't able to use it. So I always like reiterate so much and tell people to just have, just in case, better safe than sorry, have the most up to date, because that was not fun being told I could not use a book because it was not in the right year. But 2025 should be fine. If you're doing the exam next month with 2025, you should be solid. I wouldn't worry about it at all. All right. I'll do a 5, 4, 3, 2. You guys are doing awesome in the chat as well. All right. This is going to be false. And the difference, and I'll go over them. I know I've said that a million times, but I will. So what makes this false is that these codes can be assigned as principal diagnosis or secondary diagnosis, not just principal diagnosis. So that is what makes this false. All right, let's do a 200 from chapter 15. All right. True or false? Postpartum is defined as the 6-week period following delivery, while the peripartum begins the last month of pregnancy and extends up to 5 months after delivery. Is this going to be, yes, you guys are doing amazing in the chat. Amazing. Is this going to be true or false? And you guys are doing amazing putting these answers in too. I'm happy that we can get a little competitive here and put our answers in the live game as well. Yes, true or false, 6 weeks following delivery, and then last month of pregnancy, extending up to 5 months after delivery. What do we think? I'll give you guys just a few seconds on this one. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, amazing job. This is going to be true. So yes, postpartum, 6 week to delivery, and peripartum, last month to 5 months. Amazing. Everyone that put that in the chat and got that right, great work. I will click on the leaderboard the next round. Let's do a 300 since you guys did so awesome at that one. All right, another true false. For cesareans, sequence the condition that led to the cesarean as the secondary diagnosis. For a cesarean delivery, are we sequencing the condition that led to the cesarean as the secondary diagnosis? Is this going to be true or false? As long as we are participating and putting our answers in the chat, that is all I ask. We are here to practice. Practice makes perfect. I'm not expecting everyone to get all of the answers right. That is why we are here, to practice it up. No judgment at all. But I will give you guys a few seconds with this one. All right, I'm getting a lot of answers in. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to speed it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and see what the answer is for this one. So indeed, this is false. So no, so this is not in the CPT book. We're focusing on ICD-10-CM guidelines. So we're using our ICD-10 book and we are using our MCG manual. Wow, I thought I could trick you guys with this one, but y'all caught it, and we even gave some explanations in here. Amazing job. Yes, do not second guess yourself. You got it. You got it. All right, so we still got a few more to go. This is a great warm up, and then we're going to move to some in-depth scenarios. So this is great. Let's do a 100. All right. True or false? Codes from Chapter 17 may not be identified until later in life. Whenever it is diagnosed, it should be coded. Is this going to be true or false? Codes from Chapter 17 may not be identified until later in life. Whenever it is diagnosed, it should be coded. Get those answers in the chat. You guys are, yes, I agree. You guys are doing absolutely outstanding. Yeah, don't think too much. Just whatever you're thinking, put that answer in. You got a 50-50 shot. All right, give you guys about 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. This one is going to be true. Whenever I saw this, whenever I saw this guideline, I kind of was like, "Oh my gosh, this is good. This is true. That's crazy." But you have to then look at the um category. So it's the category of like congenital malformations and what else does it say? This is too long. But yes. So the clue with that one would be what chapter 17 is about, and I'll go over that. But yes, that would be true in that scenario. But again, that's why we're here. Practice makes perfect. And I will show after this the guideline that I used to come up with that. All right, so let's do a 300 question from chapter 15. Alrighty. True or false? If a patient had a pregnancy complication earlier in their pregnancy, but that complication is completely resolved and not present when they come in to deliver, a normal delivery code cannot be coded. What do we think with this one, guys? Are we thinking true or false? If you have a complication, but you don't have the complication anymore, you can no longer use a normal delivery code. Is this true or is this false? And I will not fault you if you have your MCG manual or your ICD-10 book open and if you go to chapter 15. I'm already getting answers in the chat. You guys are so quick, but I will still give you just a few seconds to go over this one. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, so indeed, I thought I was going to trick you guys. So yes, this is going to be false. So what is different, what makes it false is that you can have If you have a pregnancy complication earlier, but the complication is completely resolved, an emphasis on completely resolved and not present when they come in to deliver, you can still use a normal delivery code. So just because you had a complication earlier in the pregnancy does not mean that if it's not resolved that you can have a normal delivery code. So that is what makes this one false. Amazing job if you got that one right. Outstanding. Let's do a 100 from chapter 16. We haven't done that in a while. All right, true or false? This is a short one. Only assign prematurity code if the provider has documented it. True or false? Only assign prematurity code if the provider has documented it. I feel you guys are going to be super quick with this one. But I'll still give you a second or two. All right, outstanding job. I will go reveal the answer. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, so this one is going to be absolutely true. Great job, everyone. I believe that everyone got that one right. Let's take a little glance at the leaderboard for those who are playing live. Ooh, we have Terry at the top. All of these scores are very, very close. I'm loving the competition that is going on. Great job, everyone. But we still have a few more to go. And if you are putting your answer in the chat, I'm looking at the chat too. You guys are killing it as well. All right, let's do another chapter 17 and we will be done with that section. All right, so true or false, use personal history code or codes if the condition has been corrected and is no longer being treated. Ooh, is this going to be true or false? Personal history codes. If the condition has been corrected, no longer being treated, are we using a personal history code? True or false? All right, I'll give us just a few more seconds. We'll do our little 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Since all of the answers are flying in the chat. All right, so this is going to be true. If you have a condition and has been corrected, no longer being treated, you're still going to use a personal history code as far as chapter 17 is saying. So great job to everyone that got that one right. I'm loving the participation all around. All right, let's do chapter 15. Let's do that one. All right. All right, true or false? Are we assigning gestation codes based on only fully completed weeks? So when you're seeing like 27 weeks, someone's 28 weeks, something like that, assign gestation codes based on only fully completed weeks. True or false? So like if someone's 27 and a half weeks, are we coding that, or are we just going to code 27 weeks? Or are we going to code 28? Are we going to round it up? Or are we going to code 27 because that's how many weeks have been completed? True or false? I don't even know why I'm giving you guys clues because you're killing it. Give you guys just a few more seconds. All right, 5, 4, 3. And indeed, this is going to be true. So yes, you are only going to code based on only fully completed weeks. So if you're coding from the ICD-10, you see on there that there's no like 27.5 weeks or 27.3 weeks. There's only 27, 28, 29, and so on. So you wouldn't round up because they haven't completed the whole week yet, so you're only going to code fully completed weeks. So if you put true on that one, outstanding. And we are going to do our last question of this warm up round from chapter 15. It's going to be a 300. All right. Oh, this is a long one. All right. If a condition starts in the perinatal period and persists throughout the patient's life, continue using the perinatal code regardless of the patient's age. Is this going to be true or false? So if someone has a condition that starts in the perinatal period and they still have it as an adult, are you still going to use the perinatal code? True or false? Give you guys a few seconds with this one. Let's end on a good note. Alrighty, I see that there have been a lot of answers in the chat. I will go ahead and then we can move on to our next game in 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, so this is going to be true. I feel like these chapter 17 guidelines always get me because I was thinking the same thing. Like, that's so crazy for the other one, too. But yes, if a condition starts in the perinatal period and passes through a patient's life, you are still going to use the perinatal code regardless of the patient's age. So that one was a little bit tricky. So if you got that one right, pat yourself on the back. And amazing participation in the chat. And let's see the leaderboard for those that were playing on here. Who got number 1? Terry. Amazing job. I feel like these scores were so close. Yes, you guys all crushed it. Amazing job. First place, and we got Tamia. Then we have Melissa. Great job, guys. Great job. And if you wanted to play live but didn't get there in time, we are going to be playing this next week, so no worries at all. And for those who put their answers in the chat as well, outstanding. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can grab my PowerPoint presentation. Alrighty. So how did we feel about that game? You guys crushed that one. That was outstanding. All right. I'm not going to go into a super long explanation of these guidelines. I'm more just going to kind of click through them. So if you want to go back to this video and you want to pause and look at the specific guidelines, then you can totally do that. But here are the guidelines that I was using. So for the first category in chapter 15, these were the questions, these were the answers. So yeah, so the reason I put false is that you can sequence the condition that led to the cesarean as principal diagnosis, not secondary diagnosis. So that is why that is there. Oop, whoopsies. Here is the second. Here's the second category from chapter 15 with the true or false. So as I said in the beginning, I think this is the first question. So if a patient is 15 years or younger, they are classified as high risk. And the reason that the below one is false, right here, this is the one that I used. So if a patient has pregnancy complications, they can have a normal delivery code if it has been resolved. This is going to be from chapter 16. The reason that this one is false right here is because, let me see the exact day. It is, yes, so it is the 28th day. So for the perinatal period, it is from birth until 28 days after birth, not 60 days. So that is why that was false. And chapter 17, these are all the questions, all the answers, the guideline references. So chapter 17 is just one big guideline. So I kind of just cut it into different pieces. So that is why this all is saying the same guideline, because if you look in the ICD-10 book, it's from the same guideline. And then the reason that this one is false, you can assign the codes as principal or secondary diagnosis. All right. So again, if you want to slow it down a little bit, this is going to be recorded so you can go back and you can pause and look at the guidelines if you want a little bit more specificity, a little more practice. But let me see. But we are going to go ahead and move on to some Quizlet scenarios. So we're going to go into some more in-depth scenarios, and we're going to do it through Quizlet. So if you weren't here last week, we're just going to be using 3 scenarios, but we are going to be breaking them down from keywords, guidelines, and eventually the listed codes. So this is a great way to make sure that you understand every single aspect of a scenario. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and grab the Quizlet game. Maybe. All right. Amazing. And alrighty. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? It should be the Quizlet. I'm so glad that you guys liked that one. You guys did absolutely amazing. And I feel like you're going to do absolutely amazing on this one as well. You guys did really good on this Quizlet one last time. So let's get into it. All right, so this is going to be the first scenario of this. So the scenario is going to be Mrs. Bloom, a pregnant woman at 26 weeks gestation, presents with gestational diabetes controlled with diet and insulin. So what ICD-10-CM keywords are we going to be reporting for this scenario? Where I'm not looking for the guidelines yet or the codes. I'm looking for just what keywords are we going to be looking at and focusing on in this guideline. And I'll give you guys a few seconds on that one. All right. Amazing job. If you are still typing those keywords, go ahead. I just don't want us to run out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. And then at the end, we're going to go ahead and put everything together. So we'll see how using the guidelines, the keywords, and the code definitely helps break down a scenario. So the keywords for this, I'm pretty sure everyone got this right, is going to be, we're going to focus on 26 weeks gestation. We're going to focus on the gestational diabetes, and we are going to be focused on the controlled with diet and insulin. So amazing job. I think everyone put that in there. And if you put some other ones in there, then those are probably something to focus on too. So great job. All right. And then we are going to be using the same scenario. So same scenario, but we're going to be focusing on whoopsies. But we're going to be focusing on what guideline is going to be reported. So the same scenario, Mrs. Bloom, a pregnant woman at 26 weeks gestation, presenting with gestational diabetes, controlled with diet and insulin. But what ICD-10 guideline are we going to be reporting for this one? Let me know in the chat. Give you guys a few seconds with this one. You can put you can either put the guideline number or you can put what the guideline title is. Either way. Let us know in the chat. All right. Yes, it is from chapter 15. All right. I'm already getting some awesome responses. Great work. Great work. Yes. So indeed, this is going to be from, and then this is the MCG one. So IC15I, this is going to be gestational, so pregnancy-induced diabetes. Great job. I know the guideline, I feel like for me, the guidelines, like the specific guidelines, always tricky to point out. So if you got that one, amazing job. And then to put it all together, we are going to again use the same scenario, but now we are going to move on to what ICD-10-CM code or codes are reported. So same scenario, a pregnant woman, 26 weeks gestation, presenting with gestational diabetes, controlled with diet and insulin. What ICD-10-CM codes are we going to be reporting? And then after this, oh my goodness. Miss Leslie already putting her answers in the chat. Great job. And then I will move to the PowerPoint and then we can look and see everything all come together. And then we will do 2 more scenarios after that. And we will be done with our week 7. Oh my goodness. That's right, Miss Leslie. Yeah, you already knew. You already knew. All right, and if you are still working on coding this, then you please continue, but I am going to go back to the PowerPoint. so that we can see how this looks all put together. All right, let me share my screen. All righty. So again, this is I won't read it for the 5 millionth time, but this is going to be the scenario that we have been focused on. You guys were awesome with the keywords, so we're going to be focusing on 26 weeks gestation, gestational diabetes, and controlled with diet and insulin. And this is indeed going to be the code that we're going to be using. So the gestational pregnancy-induced diabetes. So if you look right here on this right section right here, it says how to sequence this code. So this is going to be the continuation of this. I'm so sorry. So this is the same. It's just a really, really long guideline. So again, if you look at this far right corner or this far right column right here, it says that the first code should be the gestational diabetes. And then it says gestational diabetes if a patient uses insulin or controlled by diet. If you go down a little bit more, it says treatment and specific codes. So right here it says gestational diabetes controlled with diet and insulin, which is going to be one of the key words or key phrases that we were focused on. It says right here to code only for insulin. So if you're using diet and insulin, it says to code only for insulin. And the code for that is going to be 024.414. So once we code that, then we go back and look and see what our secondary code is going to be. So our secondary code is going to be how many weeks of gestation that our patient is. So if we look at our keywords, she is going to be 26 weeks gestation. So our first code is going to be that gestation diabetes, insulin controlled, that they directed us towards. And then if we look and see the gestation codes, which is going to start with Z3A, since she is 26 weeks, we are going to select Z3A.26, showing that she is 26 gestation of pregnancy. So those are going to be the two codes we are using. So amazing job. I know that it's harder when you don't have some options right in front of you, but I feel like the more you practice this way, the more you will just be super confident in your coding ability. So absolutely amazing. I hope that this explanation helped. But you guys are doing awesome so far, and I'm loving the participation. And we have 2 more scenarios to go. So if you didn't get that one, then we have plenty of opportunity. So let me go ahead and grab our Quizlet again, and we are going to do the same situation, but we are going to do a different scenario. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay, so let's move on to our next scenario. Okay, so we are going to go back to doing keywords. So the scenario we're doing now is newborn twin girls were delivered in the hospital via cesarean section at 27 weeks, weighing 850 grams for twin A and 900 grams for twin B. Both were diagnosed with extreme immaturity. What ICD-10-CM keywords are reported? Give you guys a few seconds with this one. I know you guys are awesome at pointing out some keywords, so I won't give too much time so we can focus on the guideline and the codes, but you guys got it. All right, outstanding. Honestly, outstanding that you guys got all that right, and outstanding that you guys typed that fast, because that could not be me. All right, so yes, as pretty much everyone said in the chat. We are going to code for the twin girls. We're going to code for delivered via cesarean section in hospital. We're going to code for the 850 and the 900 grams, 27 weeks, and extreme maturity. Absolutely outstanding. I think everyone, yes, great job. Great participation, everyone. We are going to move right along. You guys know what we're doing next. We are going to focus on the guideline. This one's going to be a little tricky because this is kind of like a generic guideline, but we're still from all the chapters. But this is going to be the same scenario. I won't read it again. I won't bore you with reading it again. But we are going to focus on what guideline now. Using those keywords, what guideline do you think we are going to be using to solve this scenario? I'll give you guys a few seconds with this one. All right, I'm seeing some answers in the chat, but what we are going to be focusing on is a guideline from chapter 16. So it's going to be IC16A2, General Perinatal Rules and Principal Diagnosis for Birth Records. I know that one was a little funky. I know that one was a little basic. So if you didn't get that one, do not worry about it. But if you did get that one right, absolutely outstanding. All right, and then without further ado, same scenario. We're using the same keywords. We're using that guideline, and we are putting it all together in some sort of coding soup. I don't know why I just said that. What ICD-10-CM codes are reported for both twins? So you don't need to use two codes for each girl. What codes are reported for both twins? I'll give you guys a few seconds with that one. All right, if you are still working, then you keep doing that. I'm going to switch over to my PowerPoint so I can begin the explanation. So you still got a little bit of time, so no worries. Whoopsies. Alrighty. Hello. Okay, so this is going to be our scenario. As you guys pointed out, the keywords we're focusing on are twin girls, delivered via cesarean section in hospital, the weight of the two twins, 27 weeks, and extreme maturity. This is going to be the guideline we're going to be using. So the code for infants transferred after birth into another facility, we don't need to focus on that one, but we are going to focus on the first priority code right here. So for a newborn's birth episode, we're assigning codes from Z38, indicating the place of birth and type of delivery. So with saying that, we are going to use the Z38.3 code since we're using from this category. So Z38.3 is twin live-born infant, specifically born in hospital. So that's why I added in hospital to our keywords. So we already got twin girls and in hospital. So that would be our first code. And then our second code, as I know a lot of you put, which is super awesome and super impressive, is going to be coding for the extremely low birth weight of the newborn. And this accounts for both of them because it's between 750 and 999 grams. So that is why we are selecting code P0703. So if you got that one right, I'm seeing a lot of people getting the, yes, it would be, I'm so sorry. I apologize. It is going to be the Z38.31, not Z38.3, because obviously we got this little fifth character right here, and they were delivered via cesarean. So thank you guys for keeping me in check. I think so many people got those codes right, and that is absolutely amazing. So if you got that one right, pat yourself on the back. I know that we are at an hour. We have one more scenario to go. So instead of just skipping it, I'm just gonna go straight to the scenario, and you guys just throw all of the things at me. Throw out your keywords, throw out what guideline you're thinking, and throw out what code that we're thinking, so we don't have to take up time going one by one, and then we will go over it. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. We're also coding extreme immaturity of newborn, gestational age 27 completed weeks. Because you have to code for the gestational age. Silly me. So extreme maturity of newborn, gestational age 27 completed weeks. I almost forgot about this. P07.26 is going to be, so there's going to be 3 codes. First, second, and then the extreme maturity, which was another keyword. So I don't know why I thought there was only 2 codes for a second. But yes, those are the 3 codes, and we're going to move on to our next scenario. We're just going to keep it in the PowerPoint. We won't go switching back and forth because I know we're running out of time. So this is going to be our last scenario for the night. So a patient had a spontaneous complete abortion 3 days ago. She returns to the ED and is bleeding. After the ED provider examines her, she still has retained products of conception, or POC. So what ICD-10-CM code are we reporting? So whatever you guys want to put in, if you know the keywords, put the keywords in the chat. If you know the guideline, put the guideline in the chat. Or if you know the code, put the code in the chat. Or if you know all 3, put that in the chat as well. I will make sure to be a little more quicker with the Jeopardy game so we have time to do all 3 scenarios next class. But I'll give you guys a few seconds on this one, and let me know what clues we are using to solve this. You guys are absolutely on fire. I will reveal the first keywords while we are still working. So yes, indeed. Spontaneous complete abortion 3 days ago. Return to the ED for bleeding. And the POC, absolutely outstanding. You guys are such quick typers. It's very impressive. I'll wait a few more seconds. All right, all right. Amazing job, everybody. Yes, and we're even getting the exact guidelines. Great job. So, yes, we're going to be using guideline IC-15Q2. So, termination of pregnancy and spontaneous abortion, retained products of conception following an abortion. That would be the right one. You guys are on it with the guidelines. Great job. So, with the explanation with this one, you would code either without complications or you would code incomplete spontaneous without complications. So with using that, there was the complication of the bleeding or the hemorrhaging. So with using that, absolutely amazing. Amazing, amazing. So we are going to be led. So complication with retained products, that is also a keyword that we were focusing on. So since we do have that, we are going to be either coding from category O03 or O07. So if you look at the ICD-10, if you look at the index, then it will guide you to O03.1, which is delayed or excessive hemorrhaging following incomplete spontaneous abortion. So that is going to be our answer, O03.1, delayed or excessive hemorrhaging. And the reason that it's delayed and the reason that we're using that code is because she had the spontaneous abortion 3 days ago, but she is returning to the ED and is bleeding now. So that's what would make it delayed. And that's why we're picking that code. So if you got that one right, or if you even got the right category, absolutely amazing. Yes, and that's why I put 3 days ago, and that's why I put return to the ED. That's why I added that to the keywords. So amazing job, everyone. I know that I was super, super quick with that one. I apologize for going super fast. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But again, this is going to be recorded. So if you need to go back to have a little bit more time and you want to get a little bit more practice, go for it. Let me make sure that there's not, oopsies. Okay. So great, great, great job. Thank you as always. You're using ebook and book. I appreciate having them both on deck. So my lovely team is posting the survey as always in the chat. Definitely make sure to fill that out. Leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing so we can, have the best learning experience possible so you guys can get those guideline mastery. And if you have any questions about today's class, put that in the survey as well so I can follow up with you. I appreciate everyone taking time out of their Monday to join us. You guys did absolutely amazing. That was some great participation, guys. I hope that you guys are super happy with yourselves. Pat yourselves on the back. And I cannot believe that next week is already week 8. So I really hope to see everybody here next week. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of their Monday. And thank you guys for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. $4,000 exam passers and free classes at AMCI. Learn to code straight from home or on the road at AMCI. We're on the East Coast, the West Coast. We're all around the world. AMCI, AMCI.